want you to hit me as hard as you can.
We'll tear your soul apart.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Now the dream is over. It's acted away.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Talking Movies. My name is Josh.
My name's Chris.
I'm Clay.
And I'm Randall with the Punk Rock Review.
And we are going to talk about a crazy 1988 movie, Vampire's Kiss, this week.
Don't laugh.
I'm a professional. I don't laugh.
I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
Nicolas Cage,
The tortures of the damned!
Maria Conchita Alonso,
Shoot. Do it or I'll fire you. Do you understand? Not the floor, Alva.
and Jennifer Beals.
You are so pathetic.
Vampire's Kiss.
Hugh, this was your pick.
Yeah.
Please tell us why.
He said that with a lot of...
I was at this friend of mine's house and we were surfing for a movie. And I remember years and years ago, we went to Movie Exchange, my kids and I did. And my son grabbed every single Nicolas Cage movie he could find. And I had like a pile of like 10 DVDs, but they were all super cheap because, you know, they were like Left Behind 3 and things like that. So I think I spent like $25 on this pile of DVDs, and Vampire's Kiss was one of them. And I was like, man, what is this garbage? And he was like, you've got to see this movie. Anyway, the other day when I was at my friend's house, I was like, oh, you got to see this movie. I had never actually made it all the way through the movie because I was just like, oh my God. But, man, once it got started and I stuck with it, I could not believe one of the people who wrote a review of the movie called it scorched earth acting. And I really thought that resonated with me. This is Nicolas Cage going full scorched earth. So what'd y'all think about it?
Yeah, I just went wild for an hour and 40 whatever minutes it was.
Well, this is not the first, second, or third time that I've seen this. So,
Yeah, as the resident Nick Cage expert, why don't you go ahead, Randy?
So I hadn't seen it in a while though, and I did have it on disc. I was like, man, when I said that in a group chat, I was like, I'm pretty sure I have it on disc. I went and looked, and I had it, but then I realized, oh, I haven't opened it, so it must have been a real long time since I'd watched it, and. So I said, hey, babe, you want to watch this? And Chris was like, yeah, it's Nick Cage. Let's watch it. And she's like, didn't we try to watch this once? And I was like, I don't think so. And then like 5 minutes in, she's like, yeah, we tried to watch this one. And I was like, did you try to watch it? Or did I try to watch it? She goes, I don't know. I think I fell asleep. And I was like, oh no, this movie's great. And then like 40 minutes in, I was like, actually, I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know what's going on in the movie. I don't understand any of this, but I kind of love it. And then I got a bowl of cereal, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, dude, I mean, it makes no sense. Nick Cage, I don't even know if he's actually bit by this lady. I don't know if the lady is real. I don't know what's going on, dude. I've seen the movie multiple times. Josh, you probably know more about this movie, seeing it once than I have. You know, I don't know what's going on. It's entertaining to say the least, though.
Well, I was watching the commentary track, and Nicolas Cage says that it's just this lonely guy who goes insane. He's like, it's not, none of it's real. It's all in his mind. So that's what he thinks it is. But
that makes sense to me.
But him and the director are both on the commentary track, and they're both like, yeah, we kind of know what this movie is about.
That also makes sense.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a few times like where they're talking about scenes and they're like, what were you doing there? And we're like, I don't know. I was just going for it. It's just like,
well, I actually had time to. I'm sorry, Josh.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I had time to listen to that thing you sent, the commentaries, like
the highlights
parts. Yeah, because I was getting my Windows tinted, so I was just kind of hanging out right when you happened to send that, and I was like, oh, cool, I can listen to this while I'm chilling. And I actually got a lot of entertainment out of the commentary track. I kind of want to go back and watch the whole movie with it.
Yeah, that's what I did when I got home. I bought the Blu-ray, and so I just threw it on again, and I just put the commentary track on, I was just listening to it doing other stuff. It's pretty entertaining just to listen to.
When was the commentary track done? Do you know?
That's a good question. I didn't look to see what year it was done. I know they said in the beginning that he hadn't seen it in like 10, 15 years. I bet it's probably whenever the DVD came out.
Okay.
Probably in the late 90s or something.
That would make sense because the way they were talking was like they don't really remember a lot of everything. Like they had like these key things that they remembered about it, but then they didn't recall like certain like little things like you were saying a minute ago. Like, what were you doing there? I don't really know. I was just going for it. That is exactly what it sounded like. And that's exactly why I was curious because I thought, man, these guys must have had an absolute blast. And maybe even been a little embarrassed. I don't know. Going back and watching this movie. Because it is a wild, silly time, dude. It is not a serious movie. And if you can't handle, like, I wouldn't call it, like, the Room-esque ridiculous, but, like, honestly, it's in the same sport. Like, it's weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The acting's not that good. But Nick Cage is out there doing the best Nick Cage impression he can. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's talk about it. Like Nick Cage is known now for just, going for it in roles. He's done it many times. But I mean, I think this is the first like really out there performance of his. I was looking at the list, like where this kind of falls in his filmography, and this is very early. This is young Nick Cage, late 80s. So I was looking.
He was sort of breaking out. Yeah, like Moonstruck, I want to say was like his last movie.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to just run through some of his early stuff. So, Nick Cage is a Coppola. He's related, he's a cousin or nephew to Francis Ford Coppola. So he showed up first in like little things in like Rumblefish and the Cotton Club and stuff like that. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Valley Girl,
Peggy Sue.
Peggy Sue got married, yeah. And then it's Raising Arizona. After Peggy Sue is Raising Arizona, Moonstruck. That one I don't even know. And then it's Vampire's Kiss right after that. And then right after this he does Wild at Heart, which is another crazy performance.
Dude, that is a good movie.
Yeah, I might need to watch that one next.
Oh man, that's David Lynch. So that's like not Nick Cage. Everyone's at Nick Cage's level in that movie. Willem Dafoe is crazy in that movie. That's a crazy one.
He's got like 2 entire like careers.
Yeah.
And then he's also got like a point in the middle where it's like kind of a half career. So this is definitely like first incarnation. Is that the word? First iteration.
Yeah.
First iteration.
When does
like
career one? When does career 1 end and career 3 begin?
1 ends like right before he started doing the action movies, like right before he popped off.
Leaving Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, like Leaving Las Vegas. And then you
Snake
get into
Eyes,
like the
maybe?
action star Nick Cage, and then like the 3 is like all the direct to video crap, all the way through like what he's doing right now, because that stuff led directly to what he's doing now. But like before, he was nobody. So his actual career was neither of those. It was like the big blockbusters, action star, The Rock, Face Off, all that stuff.
Right.
At least that's the way I look at it.
So I'm
I'm
looking at the list here. After Wild at Heart, it's a bunch of like nothing in the early 90s, and then he does Red Rock West, and then Leaving Las Vegas is 95, and then after that it's The Rock, Con Air, Face Off, City of Angels, Snake Eyes, 8mm, Bringing Out the Dead, Gone in 60 Seconds, and then it's like The Family Man, Wind Talkers, Adaptation, Matchstick Men. I mean, he went on. This is his run right here.
Do you want to know where my love of Nick Cage started? Like the first movie that I watched and was like, no, I like him outside of just being like a cool actor. Like I like this guy. Matchstick Men.
Matchstick Men. That movie's awesome.
I love that movie.
Yeah, and he's super eccentric in that movie, but it's not so weird that it takes you out of the movie.
It's
the movie. Yeah.
So he won an Oscar for
Leaving Las Vegas. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he got to the pinnacle, and then he was just like, I'm just going to be an action star for like 15 years. So
Leaving Las Vegas is one of my favorite movies probably ever, but it's a rough watch.
Never seen it.
I've never watched it either. I know.
Which one?
Leaving Las
Vegas.
That's what I thought you said.
Oh. Dude, Elizabeth Shue is in prime working condition, and she plays a very high-end prostitute, and does it, very boldly. I don't know. I love the movie. It's an amazing movie.
That movie is fantastic, dude.
My struggles with alcoholism and things like that, it definitely speaks to that very seriously. So,
sure.
Dude,
it's an amazing movie.
That's a good point, because I watched that movie like when I was young, and then I didn't watch it for a really long time, and I watched it like midway through a really bad struggle with addiction, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize this movie was so dark. Like,
yeah,
because when you're young and you watch it, it's just like kind of like a, I don't know, dramatic film, and you have to be really paying attention to understand like what really is going on in that movie. And then as like a 25-year-old addict, I was just like, oh my god, like I don't know if I want to go down this pathway. I think I might want to go the other direction. Like, not quite the same, but I completely understand what you were saying though.
Yeah, totally. That one's always been on my list, but being what it is, it's not one that you just kind of run to for fun. So
for sure.
I am surprised that you haven't watched it though, knowing what you're usually like aiming for with a movie.
I do like more prestige stuff sometimes. But
Chris, you haven't seen it either?
Nope, never seen it.
What do you think of the movie, Chris? I haven't heard from you much.
Yeah, I mean, I freaking loved it. I loved every second of it. I ran out and bought it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I had a blast. I wish he could be this crazy in like every movie he does. It would just make everything.
He is like this in every movie he does.
I mean, to an extent, but yeah, like I think this is just his go wild movie. I mean, I haven't seen every movie in his discography, so I don't know like what others
like it.
Compare.
I don't think he's like this in the World Trade Center movie, but other than that,
yeah, that's true. I've seen that one.
Dude, his ABCs in this, man. I was like telling Chris, she was like doing something. I was like, hey, you have to watch this. I had to like pause it. I was like, you need to watch this part. She was like, what is he doing? And I was like, being amazing. I don't know.
He's explaining to her how you file files correctly.
That poor girl, bro.
Yeah,
that was for me. I was like, holy crap, he just did the entire alphabet. Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The fact that didn't get cut is hilarious. Sorry,
it's crazy. No, it's okay. It's like I was just gonna, I've never seen this before, but of course, it's a kind of a cult classic now. Everyone sees. There's so many memes and gifs of it, of just his expressions and stuff.
The one with his eyes.
Yeah. The weird expressions and the I've definitely seen him with the plastic teeth and stuff like that. Of course.
So
I've heard some of the quotes and stuff, but never seen it. Never really knew what it was about. I don't even know how to describe the plot. Like
he's useless. It's just Nicolas
there's
Cage
not really a plot. It's about a dude.
It's just a guy that talks to his therapist and
it terrorizes his coworker or whatever she is, secretary, whatever she is.
Like 75% of the movie is just him being really, really shitty to his secretary.
Dude, when we were watching it, I was telling Carissa, like right when she came on the screen, I was like, LA looks familiar. And like 5-10 minutes later, I was like, do you know who she looks like? And Carissa was like, no, but it is very familiar. And I was like, you don't know who she looks like. When I say it, you're going to know. And she was like, no, who? And I was like, she looks like Natalie. She does, bro. She looks just like Natalie, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can see that.
She looks like a grown-up version of Natalie. I was like, that's so wild. And then I felt even more empathetic because I'm like, Dad, you can't yell at her like that. Like, bro, what are you doing, man? That's Natalie. She's a kid. Like, that poor woman. I don't feel like bad for characters in movies very often because it's a movie. But
yeah,
she was just like, oh, would you stop treating me like this, please? And he's just not.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was gonna say her mother was a bitch too, and like wouldn't like just kept hounding her about it, and she stayed home from work, and like her brother. I mean, obviously, her brother ended up like, helping her out, and like, even he was kind of like being a little shitty about it. So yeah, I mean, you feel super sorry for her.
My friend was like, "That's real. The way the mother treats her, that's real." And I was
totally.
like, "Yeah, probably. Like, just get your ass out there and get to work."
Especially a Hispanic mother, they like, they don't play that stuff. You're like, no, go to work.
Yeah,
just deal with it. Like when Tori's grandmother comes around, there is like no, there's no mercy. Like, I'm not even allowed to like. I'm not even allowed to like get my own dinner. Like they have, she wants Tori to like get my plate and like serve me and stuff. They're like super traditional about that sort of thing.
While that's appreciated, I would feel super awkward.
Oh no, yeah, yeah. I'm always telling her like, I do all the cleaning, all the cooking, and it makes her grandma so angry.
That's awesome.
You should bring her over more often.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's a good life hack right there. I'm extremely tired. You want to come have dinner?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Dude, I bet Tori's miserable during that.
Oh, no, yeah. She doesn't enjoy it very much at all.
That does not sound like her jam at all.
Nothing like some traditional gender roles.
Oh, yeah.
I almost said something that's going to get you canceled off of YouTube, Josh. I love you, bro.
It's okay. I can edit these videos.
Oh, that's right. We're not live. I keep forgetting we're not. Bro. Man.
That doesn't mean let it fly. I don't want to have to edit, but I have to.
A little bit better.
Don't put it to work.
He's like, when did he suddenly become a weird homophobe racist? I'm like, I was just being silly, dude.
He's always been that way. We just
cut
all of it out.
Oh, man.
So did you actually enjoy the movie, Josh? I don't think you said if you actually.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it.
Okay. I kind of got the feeling, but I don't think you had like specifically come out.
No, you're right. I hadn't. No, it's hilarious.
I'm a little surprised.
The highlight reel. Go ahead.
I was just I'm a little surprised that Chris liked it as much as he did. Like, sort of. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect. I figured it would either be super into it or super not. I didn't think there was a lot of gray area in this one.
Yeah.
But I was a little like, oh, he really okay. Because I didn't know what to expect. Because when I was watching it, I was even like, oof. Like, this is up my alley, but I don't know if this is up their alley. Because I like a lot of bad movies. It's a bad movie, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but it's like bad on purpose. I feel like
that's charming, dude. It's like charming and bad. Like, it's like there's young Nick Cage with a young director and these young unknown actors, and he's doing his best to be like memorable. And it's
like just like how often does something like this get made where you just like marvel at how they actually did this and pulled it off and released it, and it's interesting to just watch him just go crazy, do whatever he wanted pretty much. I mean, it seems like he just pretty much had no direction and he just did what he wanted to the whole time.
Yeah,
go back and look. I'm sorry, Josh, go ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. That's definitely the impression I got though. Just listening to them talk to each other, he just let him go. He just like, well, I was looking up the director, and he's got like nothing else of note. And this was his first movie. He came from doing commercials,
that's amazing.
Which is funny because you weren't here for this one, Randy. But when we talked about The Visitor, is a director that came from doing commercials and stuff. So I guess there's just a running theme of these guys that are just don't know how to make a movie. They just make some like wild craziness.
That's a good thing.
But I guess he got the opportunity to work with Nick Cage, and when you need someone like that to even get the money to make the movie. So
Right.
you know, oh, we got Nick Cage, we can make this movie. So he's just like, okay, you agree to do it, do what you want, basically.
Yeah.
You know, just like let it.
That's kind of the
loose.
story of Tarantino. He got the money because of Harvey Keitel to make Reservoir Dogs.
Right.
You don't get the opportunity. Now he turned out to be one of the greats, obviously, but this fella, he turned out to not. You know, I mean, there's probably way more of those than there are than we realize. Like I was gonna say, I think if you go back to the like mid late '80s, you'll see a lot more movies where an actor that would maybe not like superstar status, but like well-known established actors doing weird stuff, man. Especially, I don't know if they're gonna go out like Nick Cage because he's a certain kind of crazy, but like guys that are doing roles maybe you wouldn't expect. And like, I mean, hell, look at Bruce Willis's early career. Like his early career, bro, he was in like a romantic comedy sitcom thing. Like guys back then did a lot of weird stuff, man. A lot of, I don't know,
I was
pushing the
thinking that
boundaries.
about Cruising, about Al Pacino's Cruising. I was like, man, I'm surprised Al Pacino pulled into this movie. Like,
Yeah,
it's a little, I would say, specific for a certain, audience to some degree.
Right.
And I was
Very
like,
niche.
Al Pacino does pretty broad movies as far as I'm concerned, like generally. And this felt a little, I don't know. It was amazing though. I'm so happy that he did it, but I was just surprised that he did.
I would say in the 70s, he was taking a lot of risks, though. You know,
Yeah, he played a
And
lot
then
of gay characters in this, or not a lot, but at least a handful.
yeah. I mean, Dog Day Afternoon. That's one of my favorites.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, and I mean that's
never
a
seen that.
risky movie too. Oh, that's a great movie.
Wait, you say I'm sorry, I haven't. Hugh, you said you haven't seen that?
No, never seen it.
That's a really good one, dude. You'd like that.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. We actually watched that at Chris's house on the projector.
Dude, that
like
movie's
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
that's a long time ago now.
Yeah, no, that's one of my, but probably my favorite Al Pacino performance. Actually,
I almost bought it
love that
lately.
movie.
I was like, hey, I should buy that. And then I was like, hey, it's on
Dude.
streaming, I'm sure.
That's probably one of my top 2 or 3 as well. Maybe my favorite.
It's good.
Really good.
It's
Yeah.
really, really good.
Yeah, pick it up. You would like it for sure.
Yeah,
I'll
It's-
definitely do that.
Was Al Pacino in Carlito's Way, or was that somebody else?
that's Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Carlito's Way. Yeah,
I like that movie a lot too. It's underrated in my opinion. Sorry.
definitely. De Palma.
What about Keitel
yes.
doing Bad Lieutenant? That was kind of risky.
Oh man, he did all kinds of stuff in that movie that was risky.
He
And
did
then
Dude.
Nick Cage
full-frontal
reprised
stuff.
that movie.
He did. That was a
That-
weird one. He
I
didn't get
love that
fully
movie.
naked though. Keitel pulled off the full Monty, but
Dude, Harvey Keitel's awesome.
he didn't.
He did a lot of risky stuff too, though. He was always taking risks and doing weird stuff.
The Piano is a very unusual movie. He and Holly Hunter.
I don't know. That one.
I've never seen that one, but I know about it. Yeah, it's a pretty.
She's like a
Yeah,
mute
wild one, right?
pianist that they have an affair, and it's a wild one, man.
Isn't it in New Zealand or something like that?
Yeah, he's like kind of aligned with the New Zealand natives.
Yeah.
It's a very like beautiful kind of movie with like a great soundtrack and stuff too.
Nice.
Never seen it either.
I never even heard of it.
Yeah,
Is
I've
it
heard
the
of that one.
Piano? Is
Or it might be the piano.
Piano.
I think it's. I think
That's
it's
what you
called
said.
the
That's what
piano.
he said originally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because there's
Holly
one called
Hunter.
The Pianist too.
Yeah, that's the with
Holly Hunter's
Adrian
my girl.
Brody.
I do love me some Holly Hunter.
Oh yeah.
She does some risky stuff.
Man, I
too.
guess maybe back in the day, I don't understand the Holly Hunter love though. I mean, she's a good actor, but like physically, like she's all right, I guess, right? Is
I
that
think
right?
I feel like we talked about this once
We
before.
did.
Like in
We
the
did.
Oh, we
yeah,
did.
in the early days, I think she was pretty hot. Like
I'll drag
and,
us back to Holly Hunter all the
raising
time.
raising Arizona. Like
Oh,
that's-
dude.
she's pretty
Yeah,
hot.
she was cute in that.
Yeah.
And Crash.
But she's not by any stretch of the word unattractive or anything. I wasn't trying to say that. I just that's the name that when you say it, I'm like, huh, Holly Hunter. Surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you watched Crash a couple months ago, and that's how
what it was.
Holly
I
Hunter-
don't remember what it was that brought this up. It was Crash. Crazy ass movie, bro. I kind of want to watch that one again just because it was so weird.
When the
Oh.
chick took off the knee brace, when Rosanna Arquette was teetering around in that squeaky knee brace,
Bro.
and they're like, "Oh, this is turning me on." I was like, "Okay."
Man, what a
Full-on
strange
body
movie.
cast.
Yeah, dude. I think Nick Cage might have like reached back into his bag of tricks specifically from this movie and his later stuff, because he didn't used to be known as like this wild, eccentric, crazy actor. It was only until like the 2000s
Yeah.
that he started doing this stuff. And I think that maybe he harkened back to like some of the things he did in his early career, because he was like, screw it, what do I care? I want to have fun. I'm getting all these crazy movie roles because I'm in debt. I'm just trying to make money right now. And he was making these movies that were like slowly building upon this foundation of wild, kooky acting. And it was building him this like second, third career. And I really do think that he might be reaching back into this bag specifically, because I don't know a movie that he did that stuff in, dude. Like, this is like the one. This is the one where you're like, oh, that's where.
Like, there comes a certain point in an actor's career generally where people are like, we're just not going to give this guy any more roles, right? We're just not going to give you any more work. The stuff you do is just too not good, right? And so I'm surprised that somehow Nick Cage was still employable. Like, he just keeps putting movies out in spite of the fact that, you know, there was a lull there for about 8 years where it was just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Do you know what that was about, though?
Yeah, he went bankrupt and lost his New Orleans haunted house and his comic book collection.
So he wasn't employable. He was just getting roles from these really bad directors and stuff that were hurting for a star, and he was like, I'll take the role for 120 grand. Like, he wasn't getting paid a lot.
Man, he took that, and then Mandy especially was like,
that's the catalyst to his comeback, I think.
It was just amazing. It was like the perfect storm of crappy movie meets Nicolas Cage. Wait, this is it. Like, it just was a big crescendo of amazing all of a sudden. I mean, it was the perfect storm.
In my opinion, the moment that he was back was actually in Mandy, and it was when he was sitting in the bathroom.
Oh, I love that scene, bro.
And he was in his underwear, the socks, and that baseball cut shirt, and he's sitting on a toilet, and he's like drinking the whiskey, going, ah! I was like, yo, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like, that is what got me to like that movie, was that scene specifically. And then because after I watched Mandy the first time, I didn't really like it much. And then it took like a couple of watches
Las Vegas. That was like Leaving Las Vegas meets Vampire's Kiss.
Bro, if he'd have jumped up and started saying the alphabet, I'd have lost my mind. But yeah,
backwards.
Man, I think that he's I think that he's a one of a kind, man. I don't think we're gonna have another guy like him. I think Marlon Brando is another one that was like really weird. We just didn't get as much cool crap out of him, but he was another weird guy that did weird stuff. And then, you know, Val Kilmer was a little weird, right? Not quite on the same level as these other guys, but like the two that I always think of is Brando and Nick Cage, as far as like weird eccentric guys that like to do weird crap in their movies.
Weirdly, he actually brought up Marlon Brando in the commentary at one point.
Of course he did.
In the beginning, he said he was basically a method actor, and you can totally see that. He's just like giving every ounce of his energy into every scene.
That's awesome.
And it's weird because it's funny because it's so earnest. Like, he's not like cheesing, you know, the camera and like winking. He's totally like, you know, he's totally like taking it serious.
No, that's effort. He's putting effort in, like, for
Right.
real. And it's just not, the outcome is a little left of center, but you're like, nah, dude's really trying. It's like, I hate to put it like this, I don't know any other way to say it, but like, it's kind of like when Bricken, he'll do something and it's like kind of in like his way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, well, no, I can't be upset by that. I either can appreciate it or not, but he did something out of the, you know, he tried this. And so I like things like that. I appreciate just flat out effort, even if you swing and miss sometimes. I mean, I put a lot of effort into things and I often miss. So, you know.
Yeah, right. But he's making a choice that no one else is going to make. It's
true.
Just he's got a unique career for sure, because you can look at something recently like Pig too, and like he's so reserved.
I love that movie.
And he knows how to he knew how to play that. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Dude, that beard. Oh man, that movie's so good.
If I could live like that guy in real life, like,
dude,
I would.
I thought that
be a little
truffle farmer.
Give me a dog and a computer to trade on, and I'll just Grow some moss on my face.
Bro, I can see Hugh right now with a bunch of like old like ponytail in the back, just
With
all
just the
grimy, looking like David
crown.
Letterman with his
Oh,
beard out to
totally.
here.
Just a hair crown with a ponytail.
Yeah, skullet ponytail with a David Letterman beard, just all grimy, wearing a 3.5-year-old Lorna Shore shirt with holes in it. Just...
I love my pig.
Yes, I'm in, dude. I got some money I'm throwing in this.
Pig 2, let's do it.
Oh man, dude, I apologize for my massive amount of movements. I've been sitting in this chair all day, and my ADHD is like taking over, dude. I can't sit still. I've been trying to.
No worries, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You all want to talk about any specific scenes of the movie? Like, let's just pick out some scenes.
The only one that really mattered. Oh no, I don't know, dude. Where he first gets the plastic teeth, bro. I don't. Yeah,
I was like, what the hell is going on? What is he doing?
Well,
And
it's
I
so
was
funny
expecting
because
him-
it's
I
so
was
funny
expecting
that
him to
he's like trying to buy the nice ones. He just doesn't have enough money.
that's me. The little stupid plastic ones. I'm like, no, dude. Like, so at one point, because I've seen this movie a few times, right? So we watched it, and I was like sitting like this, and I don't even remember, dude. I closed my eyes, and then I came to, and he was on the screen, walking down the street, going, and I just went. I like opened my eyes, and I was like, oh man, and I literally out loud, I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm still awake, and I was like, I gotta watch this part. It's so dumb. Like it's one of those things where I enjoy the spectacle, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess during that scene when he approaches the homeless people and tries to encourage them to stab him with the plank, those are actually real homeless people who did not know that was coming. So
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Good scene.
Yeah, just running. What was he running around like saying? I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire.
Yes. I'm a vampire. Oh, dude.
That's the kind of stuff that I just dream of having happen to me. Like I could roll with that, dude. If that would have happened to me in real life, I would be in that movie. I'd have been like, "What do you want me to do, man? I got you, bro." Like, let's do some wild. Let's get weird, bro.
What happened today?
Oh my god!
This guy just ran by me saying he was a vampire.
Well, I will say, I'm sorry, Josh. Go ahead.
It's okay. I was gonna say that it's New York City. They probably just see
I know
crazy people yelling random shit all the time.
Yeah, right.
That is true. They're like, oh, it's just Nick Cage. He's all right. I think that the lady, that she deserves a lot of credit, because without her being who she was and being so easily like, I don't know what the word is, man. She was abusable. I don't know what that means, but you know what I'm talking about.
She's just very reserved, and
she was willing to sit there and take it, and that made the movie more interesting. Because I don't know, man. A lot of people have pride, and I can imagine that there are a certain number of women out there that would be like, no. I can't just let him do this to me in this movie. That's the whole thing he does, is yell at me and berate me. I don't want to be in this. And she was willing to like take it on and like use that role and take it seriously and do something with it. And I think that's what she did. It might have been a little bit, realistic, maybe even. But I thought that she's a major part of why this movie was as good as it was, because she was just so good at being that character.
Well, and the mom was pushing her behind the scenes, like
Yes.
kind of like pushing her back into it. So, I mean, that actually did make it a little bit of an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
And why I just can't say like the movie is just straight up bad, because they did have some stuff in there that they set up and put in there on purpose.
It's still a pretty bad movie though. But yeah,
I related a lot to the office stuff, to be honest with you, because I have an office job, and there were times when I've been berated by people, and you just have to sit there and be like, whatever, like, and then you got to show up the next day just ready to put your game face on, you got, and so like you can barely sleep, you're pissed off for days and days, and you don't want to come back, and you have to, and so the part for me in this movie that really did it was when he flips out and jumps on the desk, and then he chases her out of the office. I was like, that's the one. Like, that is the one. If I could jump on a desk and just lose my shit, that would be the time. Yeah, it would be.
Well, that's
I wish.
you and I have a lot of that in common because we don't have the same job, but I have a couple of people throughout my life that I have to kind of like, I won't say answer to, but like as an example, I went to talk to the guy, John, that manages the property at the mall where I have my shop. And we had talked on a Thursday, and he said, "Hey, I got this other stall available. Do you want it?" I said, "I absolutely want it. How much is it?" He told me a price. I agreed. He goes, "Well, I need you to come look at it and sign this before I can give it to you." I was like, "Okay, I'll be there in the morning." I go there in the morning. That's all he told me. So I go there in the morning. I look at the spot. I was like, "Yeah, I want it. How much is it?" "Yeah, okay, yeah." We literally shake hands. I said, he goes, "Oh, I need the rent for the first." I said, "Oh, it's like midway through the month. I didn't know that. Can I bring it to you tomorrow?" I didn't even trip. I just didn't have the money. And I said, "Can I bring it to you tomorrow?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Cool. I'll see you tomorrow." I leave. I come home. I spend a bunch of money on fixtures. I get ready to close my storage unit down. I'm going to put all my stuff in the store. And the next morning I go there and I text him at like 1 PM and say, "Hey, man, I've been real busy all day with customers, but if you want to come by, I've got the rent for 166. He's like, "Oh, I rented it to somebody else." And I was like, "No, 166, the one we talked about yesterday." Wow. He goes, "Yeah, you didn't come by early enough. I rented it to somebody else." And I was like, "Wait, what? Why?" And he goes, "Well, I didn't know if you were going to come get it still." And I was like, "Well, you didn't call me." And then he just like ghosted me. And I can't go off. Yeah, bro. And I can't go off on this dude because he'll just kick me out of my store. He runs the property. And so I had to be like, okay. Then I had to apologize to him and ask him to help me get into another unit. Like, it's a big mess. I didn't even tell you guys. I was so pissed off.
Yeah, I haven't heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had a thing with Kristen at work again. It's been great for months. And then a guy left a shift on the thing we can pick up. I take the shift and then she gives it to somebody else. She like declines I picked it up. The guy texted me personally and said, "Will you take my shift?" I said yes. Big boss says it's okay. And then magically I'm not working and I almost drove an hour to work for nothing. And she just took me off and gave it to this other guy who she likes. She doesn't have there's no repercussions. There's no holding her accountable. And so like, I want to just choke people sometimes. And dude, yeah, that poor woman, you do feel some empathy for her. Not that I want to get super into these stories, but like, man, it's so crazy how this stuff happens. And when you see a character like this in a movie, you might be a big Nick Cage fan, but you look at this woman, and I mean, I had a lot of empathy for her. I was like, oh, God, he's being a real big prick, you know?
Totally. I mean, there's not a lot to the role, but I think she is doing a good job acting. She is
less is more kind of thing.
She looks scared. Yeah,
she does. Very sheepish, like eyes up like this.
It's not that hard in this role to kind of like act scared.
That's true.
What's going on the other side of you?
She's probably standing there and has no idea what he's about to do, and like she probably is scared.
And he's not like a small human being either. He's a fairly large guy. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Good Lord, you."
I was trying to think of other movies I saw her in, and one comes to mind, The Running Man.
Oh, she in Running Man?
Yeah, she's like his little sidekick that doesn't die. You know, she
my goodness, bro.
Yeah, she steals the video and stuffs it in her underwear, and
you just blew my mind.
I want to say she's in like Stand and Deliver or something too, but I can't.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Find it. Or like American.
That's crazy.
Maybe. Yeah, she's been in some stuff. Like she's a good actress. Probably
Man, I had no idea, dude.
I don't think I've seen anything she's been in.
Was she in American Me?
That's a good ass movie, bro. Hold up. What?
Running Man, Touch and Go, Fear City.
Josh, have you seen American Me?
No, we've talked about that one before. I haven't seen it.
Okay. But. No, that's Evelina Fernandez that was in that one.
Yeah, that's not her. That's a rough one.
No, that movie's amazing.
It's an amazing prison movie though. Probably one of the best.
Yeah, man. Heard very good things.
What else did y'all watch this week? Anybody watch anything else that was interesting? Yeah. Man.
I'm trying to let me see.
I saw that one
I'm listening still.
Hindu one. I can't remember what it's called. It's in a jar or whatever
Oh yeah, like inside.
It lives inside. Yeah.
The new one. Yeah.
Was it any good?
Nah.
It
was
awesome.
It was like I didn't realize it was PG-13. So
Ugh, that's a big
I
kick
was
in the
watching
sack.
it and I'm like, show me the monster. Show me the monster. Like 2/3 of the movie is me just wondering if somebody's ever gonna die. And then somebody dies, but it's like all the people anyway. It's everybody lives but the one dude. And so anyway, it's just not. It's very like after school special kind of feeling.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was. It's a big. I don't know. Wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It had some really scary parts for being PG-13. They had some good build-up stuff, but
just no payoff.
I was like, oh, Hellraiser would have ripped everybody apart in the first 9 minutes, and here I am dying here. I want to see somebody get killed.
Dude, I had one of the coolest movie watching experiences that I've had in a long time recently, like within the last week. So I was at Old Wally World and I found a copy of The Mist with all this like little holographic cover, and I couldn't help myself. Cool. It was like $9, so I snatched it up because it had the black and white version on it, and all I had was the DVD.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to watch this with my wife, who had never seen this before.
Oh, snap!
Yeah, bro. And we watched it in black and white, and I'm gonna say it was probably like a 5x. This is like now in my like top 3 movies. Period.
Isn't it so much better?
It is so much better.
Yeah,
it's better in black and white.
It is
by a metric ton, dude. I will never watch that movie in color again, ever.
Yeah,
it was.
It's like early 2000s movies, which most of those have those like really bad color grade anyway. Like
the CG looks really dated.
And the CG is pretty dated and stuff. So
and then the figures in the distance, like you can't make them out anyway because they're covered in mist.
Yeah. Well,
it gives it a 40s, 50s Hollywood monster movie feel, like really good.
Yeah, I remember Randy and I did an episode about this movie on his channel, on the horror channel. Just me and him, like maybe a year or two ago. And yeah, Frank Darabont, the director, he wanted to make it. That was his original idea, was to do black and white because he wanted it to be an old school monster movie.
Dude, as soon as I saw that it said black and white on there, I was like, I'm in. I have to watch this like that. And I thought maybe you had mentioned something, but I couldn't remember. Carissa was shook at the end of this movie, bro. I was the last 3 minutes, I was just watching her.
Oh, the end is so.
Oh, bro, and she's
wild,
like, man, that was a really good movie. I said, no, just keep watching. And I'm watching her, and she's like, all right, and then, pow, 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 and then she's like, huh, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I was like, that was crazy, huh? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, keep watching. And then I was like, bro. And then when the army rolls through, she was like this.
Uh-huh.
And then she goes, and just looked at me and was like, really? And I was like, I know.
You just sit there smiling, like laughing.
It is like one of my favorite endings in movies. So
it's one of the darkest endings I've ever seen.
Yeah. That's why I like it, because it's like, man, we don't get stuff like that very often, man. Like that is an ending people don't have the courage to do that kind of stuff. And I get it. I do get it.
The Blu-ray's $10 on Amazon with the black and white. I'm gonna get it, man.
Yeah, dude, well worth it, man. I can't wait to hear your response to the black and white.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
They just repressed it because it was out of print for a while. But they just did it 4K. Yeah, so nice. they put it out again. Yeah.
Chris, is there any chance we could do like a watch that at your house on the thing in black and white at some point?
I mean, definitely.
Let's go. I would watch that again next week, dude. It was so thrilling in black and white, man. It was so good. Yeah, I don't know why it changes so much, dude.
Yeah, I've never seen it in black and white, so I'm gonna have to pick it up too.
Yeah, it looks better.
I'm definitely down.
If they had more copies, I would have bought them and given them to you guys, but they only had the one. I was looking for as many as I could find. Well, they only had one of that. They only had one of what's the other one that I bought? I bought one for the shop. It was another good one. But then they had 2 copies of Evil Dead 2, so I bought all 4. I would have absolutely bought more of those. But
wow.
They had the gate with a nice new slipcover too, and I picked that up as well. But they didn't have a lot of stuff. It was pretty picked through.
Yeah, I mean, there's Walmarts all over the place. They always do those like special.
Well, that's what I
Halloween
love about one of the things I
slipcover.
like about Halloween time is I get to go to Walmart and pick
Yeah.
up these new slipcover ones.
Hell yeah.
Pre-order delivery on October 3rd
Cool.
for the 4K.
Oh, you got the 4K.
Oh, nice.
But it does
okay.
come with the black and white too, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I might just
It's
pick
a
that up
4-disc
because
version.
I might just do that because I think the black and white would probably be okay in 4K.
I wonder if the black and white one is going to be a 4K or a Blu-ray disc, though.
I don't think it's gonna be 4K. I bet you it's Blu-ray. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be. I mean, they don't usually do that. Like The Exorcist just did that. They did both versions on 4Ks.
But that's The Exorcist.
But yeah, that doesn't get done very often. So
Yes. Yeah. Usually they'll
Wait.
put the alternate version on a Blu-ray.
The Exorcist put a what other version?
they just came out with the 4K of The Exorcist, and they did
Okay.
both cuts in 4K. In the
Yeah.
My apologies. I thought you meant they did a black and white version, and I was like, wow, I might actually want to watch that.
Yeah.
You mean like the extended version?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bricken liked that movie. Okay, I would watch it again with him. I had more fun watching it with him than I ever had before, so it kind of gave me a whole new perspective on that movie. I still don't like it a lot. I still kind, for the most part, have kept my opinions on it, but you never know what'll make you change your mind on something, man. That's why I keep listening to music with like me and my buddy on the other channel. We do a lot of stuff that I listen to stuff I hadn't heard in years. My whole opinion is different on it, good or bad. It could change either way. But yeah, man, The Mist was crazy, bro.
But yeah, so I watched a movie called Delirium. If
I've got that movie. Is it good?
If
Wait.
anybody, there's a few different movies. So it is a giallo from like 77, something like that, I think.
Probably not what I'm thinking then.
Yeah, it was a Vinegar Syndrome release, and kind of iffy on Vinegar Syndrome stuff, but this one sounded pretty interesting. And yeah, like it's wild. Like the acting in it is crazy, the dialogue's crazy, the plot is crazy.
Wait, is this the one with the lady with the weird one eye?
No.
No.
If you look at Letterboxd, he just reviewed it today, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly standard, giallo. I can't really explain the plot. There's murders that are happening, and it might be this guy. They don't know if it's this guy. Like I think they kind of like they tried to leave it ambiguous, but they didn't do that good of a job at it. So it's just kind of poorly edited. But
That's awesome.
it's still pretty fun. There's some good moments. I think Josh would probably hate it. Like anybody, Randy would like it, and Hugh might like it a bit. I guess
It
depending
says
on
it's sleazy, so I think I would.
it's kind of up there compared to at least the giallos I've watched. I find most of them really aren't. So
Where did you watch it?
I bought it.
You bought it?
Yeah.
Dude, there's another. Okay, you might have switched my pick, dude. There's another movie from 1987 called Delirium, and it's not a Vinegar Syndrome. It's Blue Underground, and so I definitely had them confused. Boy, I tell you, that is a weird ass movie. I think I'm still going to stick with my original pick, but that one's going to be just what do you call it? Dog-eared for the next pick, man. I'm gonna hold that one off.
I was about to ask you. You want to go ahead and just lay it on us?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the original Last House on the Left.
Okay.
Nice.
It's been a long time since I've watched that. I feel like it's, I don't know what to call it, like prestigious enough that Josh really might be interested in watching it. Sleazy enough for me and Hugh. It's got some slasher stuff. I think Chris would probably dig it. Okay, I don't know. It's I don't really know. But I thought it would get some attention. It's a good enough one for this time of year.
Perfect.
It's a classic, and I don't think we've talked about it before, which is getting harder and harder to find for me.
I'm surprised you picked this one, Randy. This is a pretty rough one, isn't it?
I mean, all the stuff that we've watched, I don't think it is, but
After Irreversible.
yeah, bro. Like, so, like, I mean, like, to your average Joe, yeah, I would say so. But I'm also specifically talking about the original.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I was planning on watching it this month or October.
Okay,
sweet.
So perfect.
Yeah, so yeah, Last House on the Left. I'll probably watch this one solo. I don't think the wife's gonna want to watch this one.
Ooh, yeah.
But,
I've never seen it. It's one of the classics I've kind of always wanted to.
Oh, you've never seen it? Oh, that's kind of okay. Cool.
I haven't.
No,
either.
Hugh, you've seen it, right?
I think I've seen it a couple times. Yeah.
Josh,
I have not seen it. No.
Ooh,
Wes
I'm actually
Craven's
really
first
happy.
movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe it is. Yeah.
He's either first or second.
Yeah, I think he
I
did
do
this
like
and
the
then
Is
like,
Wes
that then
Craven.
Hills Have Eyes after that, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one that like I kind of been having in my back pocket for a while. And tonight I was like looking on my shelf and I was like, dude, and I had a few things picked out, and then I was like going through stuff, and because it's not in order right now, my room is just a chaotic mess. And I was like, da-da-da-da-da. I went, oh no, it just like stuck out to me. I was like, that's the one, dude. It kind of hits all the all the notches I'm trying to hit. We all should have something we like about this movie. And
Well, here's the big Wes Craven fan out of us, right?
I do like Wes Craven an awful lot. Nightmare on Elm
Oh, bro.
Street, People Under the Stairs.
I was saying, dude, I'm a pretty huge Wes Craven fan.
Yeah.
I mean, Scream is like my second favorite movie.
That's true.
Period.
Yeah.
And Nightmare on Elm Street's like my favorite out of the classics. Outside Texas Chainsaw, I guess. Pretty close too, though.
I think he was like rowdy enough to be like on Channel 16, but not so bad that like he couldn't be on regular network TV late at night. So he was on a lot when I was a kid.
My dad liked him. Oh, and the reason that I actually like decided on this one because I've been over helping my mom since I live close to her now. I go over there quite often and just chill. And I got my windows tinted today, so she wanted to look at the car. I was helping her carry stuff up and down her stairs, and I was talking to her, and I was like, "Hey, what are some horror movies you like for Halloween?" And we were talking about it, and I'd already picked it out. We were talking about other things, and I asked her about Last House on the Left. I said, "Didn't you see this movie?" No. I called her on the phone and asked her about that because I was talking about this trip to Vegas. I was like, I didn't ask her that at her house. Anyhow, I was talking to my mom on the phone, and she said that this is the first horror movie that she ever watched, and she watched it in a drive-in, and she's like, I didn't know what I was getting into, and I was shocked that she had seen it. And I was like, did you watch the whole movie? And she goes, yes. And I was like, oh. And she's like, I didn't sleep for like a week. And I was like, man, I can't imagine being like a lady that era and watching that movie and just, I can't imagine it, man.
Yeah, it was probably blew her mind.
I mean, that's
she wasn't
that's
thrilled
before
about it.
Texas Chainsaw too, isn't it?
Yes.
I think it's like a year or two before.
Yeah.
So it's the early days of this real like low budget,
sleazy, grindhousey.
I spit on your grave, that kind of
bro.
stuff.
Yeah.
That one I think is harder for me to watch than Last House on the Left because I also have that one kind of sticking out over here. Yeah, those movies are tough for me to watch. I also like that one called Revenge. I know Josh and me talked about he didn't like it as much as I did, or maybe you didn't see it. I can't remember.
I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't really as into it as I was. But I like that one a lot. There's a few of those movies. It's like that one scene is hard for me to watch, but everything else I'm usually rooting for the girl. You know, I do like that it's usually a triumphant comeback.
Yeah.
I like Thriller. I know we've talked about Thriller, A Cruel Picture a bunch of times, but
man, I need to give that one a rewatch, I guess, dude. I just don't get it. But I still have it, so I'll give it another watch.
There's some alternate cuts of that movie too that remove some of the penetration.
Oh, that's right. That one is so gnarly, bro. Yeah, dude. Like it's just beehole and ball sacks, dude. It's just like,
yeah.
There's like, I can't believe Carissa watched that whole movie with me.
Man.
I think there's like rules, dude.
There's like 3 or 4 cuts of that movie, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so.
I watched the Vinegar Syndrome, whatever that was just on, whatever one they presented to us, and I was like, and she kept looking at me. I'm like, I swear I haven't seen this.
Probably getting desensitized like us. We've seen so much stuff that it just like nothing thrills you anymore.
Right. Yeah, she's getting to where she doesn't really give a shit what we watch anymore. She's like, whatever, man. Oh, dude, that is one of the best things about my wife. She's willing to like, well, watch the bullshit I watch. Like,
nothing shocking.
It's awesome. Dude, I can't wait to go to Vegas with her, man. I'm trying to get her to pick something out that she wants to go do. I think she just wants to watch me geek out. Like, I know she enjoys that, so I'm not too surprised, but like, I want her to like pick something too. So I'm excited to see what she finds out. I've never been anywhere, so I don't really know. Have any of y'all been to Vegas?
Nope.
I've been through it, but not like spend any time there.
Okay.
COVID. Go ahead.
I was say I was supposed to go and never went. I had like a few things I wanted to hit up and never
what were you going to hit up, Chris?
There's like a mob museum, I think.
That's on our list.
And there's also a pretty cool haunted house. So I think Ellis told me about the mob museum,
Yeah, he told me about it too.
Hugh told me about the haunted house thing, so I was gonna do those.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think she's
I
willing
drove
to do a
out there
haunted
during
house.
COVID. It was Christmas time, and my kids didn't want to hang out, and I was all
Dude,
alone
that's
on
a-
Christmas, and I was like, "Peace out! I'm driving to Vegas." And
There you go.
man, I drove through there, and the place was empty. I mean, empty.
Ghost
And
town.
the hotel was empty. The streets were empty. They were
Dude.
like empty-ish. And then I went to the Zach Bagan's museum, and that thing was empty. I was one of three other people in there. And I mean, I bought the VIP experience, and I was going into these places by myself. And
That's
they
kind
were
of
just
amazing.
Dude, it was the most demented, messed up things I've ever seen. And I was the only one in these rooms, just like, I mean, it messed me up. I was
Did you
there for like
shroom
a
it up
month
while
and
you
a
were
half.
underway?
Dude, what?
Did you shroom it up?
No, but I
Bro,
would've-
that's like the
dude,
plot to a movie, bro. Like you went to Vegas,
Man.
nobody was there. It's during a freaking.
It's once in a lifetime thing. It'll never happen again. I was, there had like serial killer rooms with like all their implements and torture devices and stuff. They had a straight up
Crazy.
haunted basement with like pentagrams and spirit
At the haunted
boxes
house?
going in the house. Yeah, it's got like it's a messed up place. Very, very haunted. Dybbuk box is extremely haunted. Almost killed Post Malone. I saw that thing by myself. Like it was really. There's nothing like it. I would highly recommend it though, but you'll probably get possessed.
I'd highly recommend it. Yes.
Two things I wanted to get out before we get out of here, man. One was that when you mentioned that at the antique mall, there's a guy that has this like pop shop. In the very back, he's got this plastic case with a lock on it. And I was like, what's in the lock, dude? Like, why would you have pops locked up? It's not pops. You know those little these things, like
the little Funko Pop things?
No, you know this brand that makes these little toys? They make all the little like cheapy Halloween guys. Okay, so he's got a bunch of these, and they're like 100 plus, all of them. What they are is they're custom figures in the mold and like painted up to look like serial killers. Every single one of them has a legit certified piece of serial killer personal property in it.
What?
Like they have like letters handwritten by serial killers that they've cut up and have them in the. Do what?
I don't need it.
I'm just saying, how crazy is that? Like, I don't know that I want stuff like that.
No, that's weird.
Yeah, you don't want to
But-
put those in your house?
No, dude, this kid came into my store and was like, look what I bought. And I looked at it and I was like, yo, you can get these out of here, bro. And he was like, huh? I was like, put them out in the front. I don't want that in my store. He was like, all this stuff you watch. And I was like, it's all fake, my guy. I don't need like real.
Yeah.
Like Terrifier is not real, buddy. Like, you know that's not a real person, right? Like, the kid was cool. But I was like really surprised that stuff existed, man. Like, it's so gnarly, dude.
That's weird.
Yeah, dude.
There's a market
no bueno.
for it.
There really is, dude. That's pretty crazy, man. And I forgot what the other thing was. So
I was about to say, let's wrap it up. All right, so we will see you guys next week for 1972, Last House on the Left.
Yes, I remember what it was. I wanted to tell Hugh specifically because I was in a conversation and they said, hey, if you take a comic book character and put them in any horror movie, what would you do? And my first thought was like, oh, Wolverine and Nightmare on Elm Street. And then we thought like, he goes, ooh, Spider-Man, arachnophobia. I was like, that's pretty funny. And then we thought Batman and something else. And then we put, Batman versus Terrifier because we thought that would be hilarious because it's like a bootleg Joker. And then I said, Constantine and Hellraiser. And I thought of Hugh immediately. I know, dude, how awesome would that be?
That would be cool.
Yes. Anyways, I thought that'd be
Way to
awesome.
end the show, Randy.
See you guys later.